I bet you think medieval torture was just about causing insane amounts of pain. We've all seen the pictures of the rack and other crazy devices. But what if I told you that was only half the story? What if these punishments were actually giant, terrifying public performances watched by thousands of people? Today, we are going to explore why medieval justice was a public show. These insane events were like the world's most brutal social media, designed to control everyone. This isn't just about revenge, it was about power and sending a message written in actual blood and bone. You are not going to believe what we found out. First things first, to understand this, you have to completely forget about justice today. Today, it's all secret courtrooms and hidden prisons. But back then, justice was the biggest show in town. It had to be seen by everyone. But why? Why did they need thousands of people to watch? Well, it's simple. Rulers had no power. Seriously, they had no police, no cameras, no way to stop a rebellion, so they used the only tool they had: fear. A law that was just read out loud was boring. But a criminal screaming in public or a head on a spike, no one would ever forget that. Every single punishment was a massive show to prove who was in charge. The message was simple: cross me, and this is what happens. Most people couldn't even read, so the criminal's body became the message for everyone to see. It was insane, but it worked, and it gets crazier. Crime wasn't just illegal, it was a sin. It literally broke the world in their eyes. So punishment was the only way to fix it. When the entire town showed up to watch, they were part of the show, agreeing on what was right and wrong and giving the ruler even more power. So these huge, terrifying events did two things. They scared criminals, and they made everyone else feel safe. To keep the peace, they made the punishments as horrible as humanly possible. The town square wasn't a town square. It was a theater of pure terror, where one person's suffering was a lesson for thousands. Okay, so we know why it was a show, but the how is even more insane. I'm breaking it down into 3 levels of punishment: humiliation, mutilation, and the final boss, execution. Before they got bloody, they tried to completely destroy your reputation. For small crimes like stealing, being drunk, or even baking bad bread, they put you in the stocks or a pillory. Imagine being trapped in a wooden frame in front of everyone you know. For hours, or even days, your friends and neighbors would literally throw garbage and poop at you. They wanted to psychologically break you. It was a public shaming of epic proportions. They even had a metal mask to punish women for gossiping, and if you were a drunk, they'd make you wear a barrel and parade you through town. If shaming you wasn't enough, they used your own body as a permanent billboard for your crime. This wasn't just about pain, it was about marking you for life. If you stole something, they could literally chop off your hand. From then on, everyone knew you were a thief. They also used hot irons to burn letters into your skin. A T for thief on your face meant you could never escape your past. This was the ultimate show of power. Executions were huge public events, like a modern-day festival, but way more gruesome. People would travel for miles and buy food and drinks. The way you died was symbolic. Common criminals were hanged. Nobles were beheaded. But for the worst crimes, it gets insane. Heretics were burned alive. They believed fire would purify their soul. And for treason, betraying the king, you got the worst death imaginable: hanged, drawn, and quartered. They would hang you until you were almost dead, cut you open while you were still alive, and then chop your body into 4 pieces to display around the kingdom. It all started with a parade to the scaffold, where the criminal might give one last speech. The executioner had to be a total pro. A sloppy job could start a riot. It's easy to call these people savages, but what if we're more like them than we think? We have to look at the psychology of the people who watched this stuff. Why would thousands of people show up to watch someone get tortured? Was it just for fun? For some people, probably. I mean, with no internet, this was crazy entertainment. But for most, it was a civic duty, like voting, but with more screaming. They also believed they were watching God's work, like seeing evil get destroyed. And let's be honest, we all have a dark curiosity. Are the massive crowds at an execution that different from millions of us binge-watching true crime shows today? It's kind of the same thing. But what about the guy doing the killing, the executioner? He wasn't some monster in a hood. That's a myth. They were known people in the town, but everyone hated them. People would avoid touching them, their kids were kicked out of school, and they were total social outcasts. Sometimes a criminal was forced to become the executioner just to stay alive. So, were they all just evil sadists? Not really. Many of them thought they were just doing their job, like a public servant. One executioner, Franz Schmidt, kept a diary, and he actually felt bad for the people he had to kill. And this is the most shocking part. The worst things in history weren't done by monsters. They were done by normal people who were told what they were doing was right and necessary. So medieval punishment wasn't just barbaric, it was a giant performance of power. The stocks, the branding, the executions, these were all tools to control people in a world without police or cameras. It was a crazy, brutal system designed to scare everyone into obedience. They literally normalized violence and made cruelty seem like justice. Today, we hide all this stuff behind prison walls and think we're so much better now. But are we? Our obsession with true crime, violent movies, and huge online arguments, aren't these just the 21st century version of the crowd at the gallows? It makes you wonder, have we actually gotten rid of our dark side, or did we just give it Wi-Fi? If you can't believe what you just learned, smash that like button and subscribe to Ancient Vault right now. And I want to know what you think is the craziest part about medieval justice. Tell me in the comments below. Go on, spam the comments.